hopefully everybody had a phenomenal Martin Luther King Jr. Day yesterday, and that you spent it with a moment of reflection or a moment of action to give back to your communities and where in which we live. And I want to share two things with you. And I shared these last year, but I was looking at last year's notes from the team meeting the day after Martin Luther King Jr. Day. And especially after everything that happened in 2020, it made me take a moment of reflection to say, man, I hope people don't think about the virtues in which he lived his life one day a year. And then I would challenge you to think about the virtues in which he lived his life 365 days a year. And in all the SHIT that we went through in 2020 across a multitude of things, I pulled up two things. And this is a repeat from last year, but it was two things that I think is very serendipitous to the way in which I would challenge you to live your life. And here's the first one, right? I have decided to stick with love because hate is too great of a burden to bear, right? I decided to stick with love because hate is too great of a burden to bear. And the second one is people, and I truly firmly believe in this, people fail to get along because they fear each other. They fear each other because they don't know each other. They don't know each other because they have not communicated with each other, right? And if I put this in a professional context of our industry, not only of the clients in which you serve, right? A very big theme that we've talked about the last couple of weeks is some of the contentious nature of the current market of the moment because of the pressures that it's putting on not only your clients, but also your co-brokes, right? And so one of the things that I would challenge people as you think about yesterday and you reflected moving forward in terms of what you hope to achieve in 2022 is people fail to get along because they fear each other. They fear each other because they don't know each other. They don't know each other because they have not communicated with each other. So as you reflect on yesterday and you think about where you want to go in 2022, I challenge you to live your life by these two quotes or have them within the back of your brain or your mind as you move forward in 2022, because lots of things come at us on a daily basis, whether it's personally or professionally. And in the way in which that you show up, either for your families, for your spouse, for your clients, rubs off in ways in which on other people. And if you don't understand them or you don't communicate with them, it's unfair in the way in which you treat them ultimately at the end of the day. So there's my challenge or charge for you today as we look ahead into 2022. And I'm going to if you think about some of these comments or quotes that we've talked about so far this morning, I'm going to kind of tie it back to one of my phrases for 2022, which is be resilient, right? There isn't anything I think in 2022 that we are going to be facing that we haven't already faced. COVID, been there, done that. If it spikes, we'll be able to deal with it and we'll be able to figure out how to forge forward, right? Tight inventory market, guess what? Been there, done that. Right? There isn't a lot that I think that we're going to see in 2022 unless aliens show up that we haven't already been able to deal with. So I challenge you to be resilient and live your life with love because hate is too great of a burden to bear. So there you are. I challenge you to think and ponder on that as you think ahead and your approach to this business, approach to your families, and approach to your spouses, and so on and so forth. All right, with that, we wanted to lead off this morning's team meeting with a little bit of an agent resources update with a new feature coming at you from Key Please. So I'm going to flip this over to Mandy, who's going to go through in depth some of the features that you have access to now through Key Please.
All right, good morning, everybody. I'm really excited about a new feature that's coming to Key Please. So we had a lot of people asking, can I send showing requests to specific people? And before it would just go out to everyone in the entire brokerage. So as of today, you do have this new feature, the favorites feature. So what you can do in this way is you can create a favorites list. So you're going to want to make sure that you have your app updated to the most current version. It's 3.03. So make sure to update your Key Please app. And you go into the app, the menu drop down and click on My Favorite Agents. And from there, you can start building your favorites list. So you're just going to click on the Create List button. And it's from there that you can search, select, and create a favorites list. So for those who haven't used Key Please, it's a really, really great leverage tool to be able to help your buyers get in to show homes, drop off riders, any sort of thing that involves going inside or outside of a home, even meeting an inspector, whatever that might be, if you're, too busy or have tons of things going on. So with this new feature, you can send opportunities in 3 different ways. You can send it to your favorite list only, or you can send it to your favorite list first. So if you send it to your favorites list first, the favorites have a minute longer to accept the opportunity. If your favorites don't accept it within that first minute, it goes out to the entire list, who is just our brokerage for that opportunity. So the third option then is to just send it to all agents if you don't feel like creating a favorites list. So again, if you haven't used this tool yet and you're looking to just get even started with it, go to kwrealtymke.com. Click on the showing assistance, and then there's a link to download now, and you're going to need your specific office's broker license number, and they're all listed right there on the site. So go in, create your favorites list, play around with it. If you need help setting it up, give me a call, and I am happy to help you with it. So.
Cool. Guys, leverage is the new hustle. If you haven't understand leverage, you don't understand how to scale a business, right? And you can't be everywhere at once. So in that moment when you need leverage to get a client into a house because there's 20 showings on day one and you can't get to every single showing for your buyers, leverage some of the new talent that we've brought into the firm and allow them to go show your clients different homes. Leverage is the new hustle. The only way you can scale a business is by creating leverage within your life, and Key Please is a fantastic piece of leverage for you within your business, whether you're on a team or not on a team. It's a really great resource. And for those of you who are still looking to close your first deal and are looking for a little bit of hustle and you need to make ends meet in terms of, making a little bit of extra scratch, it's a great way or a great opportunity for you to make some money on the side as a side hustle as well, and gain some knowledge and confidence through the process of showing homes by leveraging some of those people who have too many clients to show too many homes and being a showing assistant through the opportunity through Key Please. So any questions, be sure to make sure you check out kwrealtymke.com. That is all of where our agent resources are housed and led. And we're going to be diving into a little bit more of these resources on a consistent basis here moving forward into February, because I think what happened was we added so many resources that are being underutilized from a leverage standpoint. So we want to make sure that people understand all the leverage that they have available to them, and we'll be showcasing that the next several weeks. All right, with that, we've also had a little bit of a hiatus while Sheriff Reed was conducting, I don't even know what Sheriff Reed was up to, but compliance. Sheriff Reed, we're flipping it over to you for compliance updates.
New grandbaby.
Yes, and she is a proud grandmother number 2. As she had a new granddaughter come in. Granddaughter or grandson, Sheriff Reed?
Granddaughter. She was born 3 a.m. New Year's Day. Brand new baby, brand new year.
Just missed the tax break.
That's what my son said.
All right, what do you got for us this week?
Well, good morning, everybody. I usually bring these topics up if it's a result of some phone calls I've been getting in with the competitive offers that we've been doing. Closing cost credits haven't been really top of line because it really isn't an incentive to a seller to put in a closing cost credit in your offer. But they are being used in an amendment after the inspection contingencies sort of resolve those problems. And so I've been getting questions about that. And so I thought I would just have a short reminder on what closing cost credits are. And it's called seller contributions in Addendum A. So go to the next, please. This is where you find it. If you're drafting an offer and you want to put in seller contributions, it's up here at the top, and it reads, it's very short, seller shall give buyer a loan cost credit and or prepayables at closing in the amount of blank. If you leave it 0, to assist buyers in the purchase of the property. Any funds not applied to the loan cost credit or prepayables shall be credited back to the seller at closing. And that can be negotiable. This is exclusive of any loan fees indicated on the offer. So the purpose of this insert is to identify exactly what you're talking about in loan cost credit. And issues arrive when it isn't defined and what they're going to do with it, and if the excess goes back to the seller or not. But this is where you'll find it if you want to start out your offer drafting it in Addendum A. But again, if you're in competitive situation, that this offer isn't going to be top of the pile. Okay. So closing cost credits are expenses of the sale that must be paid in addition to the purchase price. And when you're working with any lender, they will go over what your closing costs are going to be. So either the buyer pays the lender as part of his expenses, or the seller pays as part of the seller's expenses, and they're called closing cost credits to the buyer. They must be defined as loan costs and or prepayables. We do use them as a incentive for the resolution of problems in the inspection, but that isn't defined in the amendment. So, as I said, it can be drafted in the offer under Addendum A, or it can be added as an amendment to the offer to purchase to resolve inspection repairs and issues. So instead of haggling back and forth, the seller doesn't want to fix anything, it's too short of a time to closing, all sorts of things, it can be just resolved by adding an amendment that seller credits to buyer $3,000 or whatever of closing cost credit, and that can resolve these disputes between buyer and seller. Always check with the lender though, just don't pick a number out of the blue or pick the number that it's going to cost to repair repair issues and put that amount in. Check with the lender to see what the maximum is allowed for that buyer. So the last part of this is sometimes when there is a closing cost credit, the seller perks up and says, I'm not going to pay commission on money that I'm paying back to the buyer. I'm only going to pay the net of what my purchase price is. And when that happens, it's certainly allowed if both parties agree to it. So if both companies agree to it, excuse me, not parties, it's the listing company and the selling company have to agree that the commission paid to the selling agent is going to be the net of the closing cost credit. So if the selling price is $250, the closing cost credit accepted in the offer is $3,000. The seller can object to paying commission on $250, but would rather pay it on the $247. So if everybody agrees to that, not buyer and seller, but agents and firm, then you need a letter from the listing agent and the broker to the selling agent and the broker stating that the commission is to be paid based on the selling price minus the closing cost credit, and signed by the agent and the broker on both sides. This is done, this can be done, and I've answered a few questions regarding this. And so that's why I wanted to bring this in as part of the reminder about closing cost credits.
Sweet.
So,
Sheriff Reed, we appreciate it, and thank you for helping look after these guys, not only their incomes, but also their licenses as well, and helping keep them out of trouble. So we appreciate it.
Thank you.
All right, guys, I want to get a quick finance and accounting update for you too. Friday afternoon, Jen Turner sent out an all company-wide email giving you some updates that were pretty pertinent and important information as it relates to income and finance and accounting. So I'll just run through those quickly here for the group. Currently, she is working on getting out 1099s to all agents who made an income in 2021. You should see those at your home address on file with the office. If you reminder, we've kind of preached this for the last couple of weeks, but if you moved in 2021, please make sure that your home address is updated with the MCA's office, because we are beginning to push out 1099s. I believe they're going out in the mail either this week or next. So be on the lookout for that information. Also, for those of you who earned profit share in 2021, your 2021 1099 for your profit share statement will also be mailed a physical copy to your home address on file. They are also available through the My KW intranet if you go to resources, profit share 1099s, where you can download an electronic copy as well. But you will be mailed a 1099 to your home address as well. Couple other things as it relates to deductions. So there's 3 important reports that the office will provide if you had not been tracking on an annual basis, which is totally fine. We will also provide you physical copies of your closed DA report, which is the itemized closed transactional and GCI report, your associate expense report. So anything that we deducted from in terms of what you paid for, whether it's printing, if you rented an office, whether you attended a training that we put on your credit card, we will provide an itemized list of agent expenses report, all associated to your KW agent invoices, which will all be tax deductions. And then we also have a deductions report, which will include BAC fees if you utilize transaction management, launch program, file fines, etc. All of them are deductions on your taxes. So we will be printing these 3 reports if you have not been tracking them individually, and we will be physically providing these within your market center mailboxes. We will make sure that the innovation agents, we will get those reports over to innovation, and as well as Lake Country agents, they will show up physically over in Lake Country as well. So 3 important deduction reports to help you minimize what you pay Uncle Sam come 2021 tax season. Last thing, within the email that went out on Friday afternoon, good news, bad news. Good news is we've had an incredible run of success, or you guys have had an incredible run of success. We eclipsed roughly 1.5 billion in total sales, 4,000 units, paid about 40+ million in total gross commissions paid out. The bad news associated when this group has that much success is our exposure goes up pretty significantly from an E&O standpoint, as well as Metro MLS communicated an invoice increase as well. So what you'll see is Metro MLS, which they previously communicated, went from $30 a month to $34 a month, which will be reflected on your agent invoices. And our errors and omissions insurance will be increasing by $6 per agent per month, from $32 a month to $38 a month. One thing that I just want to point out, well, 2 things. One is these will be reflected on January's agent invoices that will be going out today, I believe. And then the other thing is that we've really tried, as KW has grown across the Metro Milwaukee area and our risk exposure has gone up, we've really tried to reduce expenses in other areas as to not pass the burden onto the agents. So while our E&O premiums have been going up consistently over the last 3 to 4 years, this is the first agent invoice increase that we have passed on to the agents since January of 2018. So we tried to mitigate all expenses and what we pass on to the agents as much as possible. But I think what you're seeing in everything in life is the cost of doing business is increasing. And because of the cost of our exposure is increasing, that's where you're seeing an errors and omissions increase from an E&O insurance standpoint. So you'll be seeing that on January's invoices. Any questions, don't hesitate to reach out to myself or Jen Turner. We're happy to provide anything you may need as it relates to taxes, invoices, anything like that. Not the most exciting topic, but want to make sure that we're approaching it. You guys are aware that that's out there. Cool. Sweet. Oh, and then lastly, also within the January agent invoices, you will see the KW annual fee of $25 for the KW profit sharing system. This is consistently charged every year in January, and that will be out on January's agent invoices. Cool. All right. So last week, we celebrated a ton of people for a ton of success in 2021. And what I wanted to do was provide a little bit more context as what's going on within the larger brokerage community as it relates to the language of real estate, right? And what I want you to understand is success is outpacing the market average, right? So when you look here across the top 10 brokerage firms within Southeastern Wisconsin, these 10 firms last year constituted 65% of the total closed dollar volume and unit volume. 11 firms did roughly 65% of the total dollar volume and unit volume. Now, again, remember, success is outpacing the market average. So for the firms that were increased their business by 15% or more, they took market share in 2021, or better yet, their agents took market share in 2021. And because all brokerage firms are a reflection of their people's results. So the market was up 15% in 2021. Shore West was up about 7% in 2021. KW finished the year as the second largest brokerage in Southeastern Wisconsin, up 30%. You can see First Weber up 7.6, Remax down 5.7, Coldwell Banker up 20, Realty Execs up 10, and then you can see here rounding out the top 10, all at around less than 2% total market share. So you can see really, as it relates to brokerage firms in Southeastern Wisconsin, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the top 6 do the lion's share of the volume. And again, a testament to what you guys did, and is kind of bridging the gap from what we talked about last week. This is a reflection of you guys and what you were able to achieve in the last year. Now, this is the top 25 individual office locations across Southeastern Wisconsin. For many of you who have been around for a long time, I've enjoyed sharing this because you can see a lot of people are pretty much robbing Peter to pay Paul, and there isn't much separation of the pack except for 4 or 5 locations. KW Innovation finished 2021 as the 30th largest office in the Metro MLS, up 102%. KW Prestige, which is out in Germantown, finished as the 25th largest office, up 32%. Right? KW Lake Country finished at number 5, up 21% for 2021. You can see KW Southwest down in New Berlin was up 30%, finished the second largest office. And then KW North Shore not only finished as number 1 in the Metro MLS, it finished as the largest individual office location in the state of Wisconsin in 2021, closing over $1 billion in residential real estate in one location, and it was up 26%. So guys, congrats on your continued success, continued momentum. It's incredible stuff. Now, what does this look like again across the LOR report? And for those of you who haven't seen a LOR report, or why is the LOR important? These are the, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 metrics that I look at on a pretty much monthly basis. And there are lead metrics and there are lag metrics, right? Your leading metrics that I look at are what leads to future income or future production, right? Which is listings taken units, listings taken volume, contracts written units on the buyer side, and contracts written unit or volume on the buyer side. What you can see here, because these are the report that I pulled this from, combines North Shore and Innovation versus the Metro MLS. You can see the success is outpacing the market average. And again, this guys is a reflection of your guys' success. When you can see here that closed sales volume, which is a lagging metric, it means everything that you did to close production. Lagging metric, the volume was up 15% in the marketplace. KW, North Shore, and Innovation combined were up 33%. Closed units were up 5.7% in Metro MLS, and KW, North Shore, and Innovation was up 21% in units. Agents control their units. The market gives you volume. Now, the other thing is that's very interesting, again, is I look at market share really is determined by your lead listing indicators, right? Listings is where the game is won. Why? Because listings have babies. For every time you take a listing, you should have 2 buyers that come from it. So listings taken units, again, the market was up 4% and total new inventory came to the market in 2021. And in 2021, KW, North Shore, and Innovation was up 16% on listings taken unit. Guys, incredible, incredible success. Now, when I compare this versus our peer group within the North Shore locations, you can see here, this is just specifically against the North Shore, against our peer group. You can see the brokerage trends across the North Shore for the 12 months ending December of 2021. Now, shifting west over into Lake Country, again, these results are absolutely incredible and a testament to everybody who's working out of the Lake Country space. Very similarly, same 8 metrics as we look at from the language of real estate report, listings taken. Again, the ones I pay attention to most, listings taken units, listings taken volume, contracts written units, contracts written volume. You can see the spread here from KW Lake Country versus the Metro MLS market board of the success these guys are having in pouring pouring in and leaning on each other, because diversity of thought through collaboration is ultimately how you sharpen your sword to get better. So guys, everybody out in KW Lake Country, congrats on an incredible 2021. Now, as it relates to Lake Country brokerages and how they stack up against their peers, you can see here, KW out in Lake Country for December of 2021 against their peer group finished up 21%. First Weber just eclipsed them in 2021. They had a great couple months in November and December. They were up 8%. Shore West Oconomowoc coming in at number 3, up 12%. Realty Execs, and so on and so forth. Now, last but not least, here is our Tosa, Elm Grove, Brookfield counterparts, right? You can see here the innovation office, while it was up 102%, total KW across all of these communities was up 41%, as the second largest brokerage across Tosa, Elm Grove, Brookfield. And you can see here across the trends of the peer group within this geographical area as well. So, how does this stack up from a performance trend? And this kind of correlates the bar graphs that I showed in the very beginning to the trend lines, because I think it's easiest to see trend lines. You can see here across all the top, essentially 11 firms within the area in the market in terms of their trend lines. Guys, again, congrats on incredible 2021. And now we are turning the page into 2022. But again, all our results are a reflection of your results. And we're super proud to be in business with all of you guys. And thank you for partnering with us. Cool. One other thing is I wrapped up 2021, and we talked about this at the end of December, and Ross Treffert helped me through a little bit of jeopardy. But I think I butchered the story slightly because I made it too complicated. Okay, so I want to really seed something into your minds as you think about this. Last year, and Ross, if you're on, help me out. Last year, the 1-year annual rate of return on the S&P 500 stock index was what? 26%. The top 500 stocks on the stock market were up 26% on a year-over-year basis in the last year. Okay, so I want to seed something into it. Ross, I love seeing you jumping on to participate, right? Here we go. If you invested $4.3 million in order to get you'd get a $1.1 million return at 26%. Okay, you would have need to have invested $4.3 million with a 26% return to get 1.1 million. Now, does anybody have any idea what 1.1 million represents, Ross Treffert?
Total market or total profit share shared in 2021.
Love it. And how much did everybody contribute in order to receive a $1.1 million return? Nothing. A big fat zero. Now, Ross, you would have need to have invested $15.2 million. With a 26% return, you would have been paid out roughly $4 million in total income. Okay, what do you think that $4 million represents?
My car payments for 2021.
It's the total lifetime profit share paid out across KW Milwaukee. Here's my point. The S&P was up 26%. You would have need to have invested $4.3 million with a 26% return to get a $1.1 million return. And all we did was just give it away to the agents in the form of profit share. If you look bigger across the broader last 7 years, we paid out $3.9 million in total profit share, right? My point is, and Ross helped me illustrate this point, you didn't have to invest anything other than being a great person and attracting talent to see a return on that type of investment. Now, let me show you this. Here is going back to all the way since 2015, the profit share returns that have been paid out on a year-over-year basis, right? Interestingly to note, in the last 2 years, we've paid out more than 50% of the total profit share that has been paid across the entire lifetime of KW Milwaukee. Also, I'd also point out, look at the percentage change of year-over-year growth rate of these dollar amounts. Point being is, you're never too late to participate in profit share. Why? Because the pool that is being contributed through passive income with profit share continues to grow at an unbelievable clip. You can see here on the percentage change year over year, as well as that over half of the total dollar amount that's been contributed in the last 7 years has been done in the last 2. So my point being is you're never too late. So with that, I want to celebrate a handful of people as well. Why? Because there are some people that in this company that make more in profit share passively than what they contribute in their cap, right? There are people who make more in profit share than what they contribute in their cap, right? So we want to celebrate those folks. First of all, out in Lake Country, Karen Trimble, congrats on earning the 100% Club for the first time in your career in 2021. Next up, Stillman, the OG of profit share. And if you talk to him, ask him what profit share has done to change his life, right? Ask him about the tax liability that he was sitting on before he came to KW, and then everything that his profit share helped him pay off to live essentially a debt-free life. Andy Stillman, congrats on another year of 100% Club with KW. Next up, my wife. Again, I talk about the standard. There's only one standard. Megs, congrats on 100% Club in 2021. Next up, KG. He hit it for the first time in 2020. He hit it again in 2021. KG makes more passively through profit share than he contributes in his cap. Kevin Gardy, congrats on the 100% Club. Next up, Janine Werner, another one who's been in the 100% Club for several years, made it again in 2021. And her partner in crime, Jay Schmidt. The two of them, interestingly enough, if you ask them about their profit share and how intentional they were, they didn't start earning profit share until about 2.5, 3 years ago. And since they've started being intentional and purposeful with it, they've made 100% every year since they've been intentional and purposeful. They make more passively than what they contribute in their cap. Another one who hit it for the very first time in 2021, Jonathan Newby, congrats on hitting the 100% Club in across KW. Katie Falk hit it for the first time in 2021. Katie Falk, congrats on hitting the 100% Club in 2021. Martha Ola, congrats. Stephanie Minnick hit it for the first time in 2021. Stephanie Minnick, congrats on hitting the 100% Club through profit share in 2021. And then lastly, Will Stale, who's also hit it, I believe, every year since he's been at KW. Will Stale, congrats on the 100% Club through KW. Now, here's what I would also tell you. Do you see a theme of those who earn profit share and correlate it to their business? And what's the theme? They're all high producers. And what does that tell you? They're not afraid to ask for a sale, right? So if you want to be a part of it, do what those people do. Right? They're successful in the real estate business and they're successful at earning passive income through profit share. Now, handful of people I do want to celebrate as well, because these people reached minimum 50% of their cap was contributed, or they earned back in profit share. Either minimum was 50% or they're on the precipice of joining the 100% Club, right? Nicole McGonigal out in Lake Country, congrats on being in the 50+ percentile for profit share. Katie Thomas out in Lake Country, congrats on being in the 50+, earning 50+% in profit share versus the cap. Emily Fair in the North Shore office is over the 50% Club, right? Emily Fair, congrats on your continued success through profit share. Molly Gallagher achieved the 50+ percentile in the North Shore in 2021. Paul Nikolic hit it for the first time, achieving more than 50% of his cap of what he returned back in profit share in 2021. And those are our 50% clubs. So again, as I challenge you, and my job is to plant seeds to make you think, I would love for you to think about how you can make profit share an intentional and purposeful part of your business in 2021 in order to see the results that so many people have seen so far. And again, as I correlate to why are those people that are in the 100% club or even the 50% club, it's they have success in multiple avenues of their life, right? And they are very intentional and purposeful in their approach with profit share. So on, let's see, the 21st is what, Thursday? Thursday, Ross, when you get your check, I'll make sure we check it out and correlate it to what your return on that investment is. Ross, I appreciate you participating.
Anytime.
All right, guys.
I just got to get my first check, Charlie.
Well, I'll text you as soon as that happens. All right, guys, wrapping it up here for Tuesday this morning. A few things I want to shout out, then I'm going to flip it over to Wooten. Coming up, if you have not seen this yet, the GMAR has done, in my opinion, it's a really phenomenal event. Once a year, they host a conference. This year, it's at the Brookfield Conference Center over on Moreland Road, Wednesday, February 16th from 8:30 to 11:30 in the morning. And it's a conference of panelists and moderators of very successful women within our business and celebrating the success of women and also helping uplift women within our industry. And I want to give a big shout out to two individuals particularly, because at 10 a.m. at the Women's Strong Conference, we have Judy Hebner out of the Keller Williams Prestige office in Germantown and Amanda Schroeder out of the Keller Williams North Shore office, who will be panelists within the Women's Strong Conference. A great conference pouring into so many other people. And I will also tell you this, you don't have to be a woman to participate in the Women's Strong event. I've attended in the past. There's great information to be learned from this. I think the GMAR does a great job of putting this on, and congrats to Judy and Amanda on being selected to showcase their skills and their skill sets. So congrats and celebrating them. Next up, one other thing that I want to point out too, guys, and we've talked about it a little bit, February Union is coming up in Orlando, Florida. It is being offered in person and in digital. So if you haven't registered yet, I'd highly recommend it. Why? As I've talked about, you do what the top people do. All the top people attend Family Reunion. Again, collaboration and ideation and diversity of thought is the key to this business and making sure that you're being progressive in your thoughts and actions. The best way to do it is pour into Family Reunion. All right, Wooten, what do we got coming up this week from a training and education standpoint?
Good morning, guys. So today at 10:30 after team meeting, join Nikki and Amanda in person. They're going to be going over strategies to achieve your goals. So they went through setting your goals last week, and this week is going to be surrounding what strategies actually need to be in place to help you achieve those goals that you've set. Also, this week in productivity coaching on Thursday, we're going to have Connie in person in Lake Country, and then also North Shore on Zoom. And they're going to be going through the listing, CMAs, and the MLS. We also have 11 o'clock tech training on designs and campaigns on Thursday, and that'll also be repeated the following Thursday. So if you want a little bit more information about how to put together a Facebook design, a social media post using Command, and then actually be able to lead generate off that post, join us for tech training.
One other thing to call out, guys, too, Admin Mastermind is this week, Friday, right? 10 a.m. If you have an admin and you'd love them to participate, it's a great group of people who get together to mastermind on operations, systems, and processes. Or if you're thinking about making your first hire or thinking about ways in which you can increase systems and models to create efficiencies within your business, feel free to jump in to participate there. Lastly, I would love to point out, Ignite continues to roll on. For those of you who are in Ignite, the world is run by those who show up. Implement what you are learning from those who are teaching you, because there are very successful people who are pouring into that group. So Ignite will continue this week, Wednesday, again. A couple other things to point out too, as a follow-up from last week's conversation with Todd Butzer, which by the way is on the KW Milwaukee YouTube channel. So if you missed that conversation, you can jump in to watch that recording. Many people reached out to us saying, hey, this is great. Now I'm paying attention to my money. How do I pay attention to what I can write off? So we reached out to Anna Klein, who joined us last year, who will jump on Wednesday, February 2nd at 1 p.m. to help you think through strategies of tax deductions to help you save money. So the first part of the conversation was all around how do you manage money? How do you have a relationship with money? How do you look at it to make sure that you're being a good steward of what you've earned? The second part of that conversation is how are you making sure you're mitigating your liabilities so you're not overpaying what you owe in taxes? So join us Wednesday, February 2nd as a follow-up to last week's conversation. Cool. Last thing, and I'm going to leave you with this, the phrases of focus in 2022. We touched on it a little bit, but you have to be resilient, take care of each other, and bring the noise in 2022. Lake Country crew, I'll let you jump over to the Lake Country meetup. North Shore and Innovation crew, I will flip over to new listings and buyer needs. Guys, have a great week. Enjoy